every single major institution who's bought Bitcoin through Coinbase does not use the same retail app you and I use. And so the people who use this product, include BlackRock, Michael Saylor, Elon Musk. So basically when in 2021 or 2022, we were all really excited about DeFi, and we had this kind of great mix of skill sets where we really know how to build secure products at scale. My co-founders had built the trade execution side in CeFi, and I had built all the DeFi on-chain side. So what we realized was that all the stuff that we'd built at Coinbase for CeFi was completely lacking in DeFi. And to bring in the next wave of capital on-chain, that same infrastructure was needed.
Welcome to the Edge Podcast. I'm DeFi Dad here with Nomatic from 4RC. Today's show covers Definitive, the most advanced DeFi trading and execution platform for trading any token on Ethereum, Solana, or any L2. In this episode, we cover how Definitive is transforming DeFi with unparalleled trade execution, advanced order types on-chain, and gasless trading on a chain-abstracted platform. We'll learn why Definitive is being used by the biggest crypto institutional traders, hedge funds, whales, and everyday power users like ourselves. But before we do, just a quick word from our sponsors who make the Edge podcast possible. Overwhelmed trying to manage your crypto and DeFi investments? Meet iYIELD, a free financial planning tool for crypto natives and yield farmers. iYIELD's dashboard compares returns from your DeFi positions side by side, providing clarity to help you make better decisions. iYIELD supports a growing list of over 16,000 tokens and 40 of the top DeFi and staking protocols across 17 blockchains, including Ethereum L2s. The best part is that iYIELD is 100% free, anonymous, and there are no ads. Check out iYIELD.com today to take control of your financial future. Hey folks, I wanted to tell you a bit about our sponsor, PYTH Oracles, your go-to source for smarter data to power smarter contracts. PYTH delivers real-time market data for crypto, equities, FX, and commodities to over 80 blockchains. With 120 plus major market participants like Jane Street, Binance, and CBOE, PYTH ensures secure, low-latency feeds trusted by 430 DeFi apps. You can learn more about PYTH by going to PYTH.network, and thanks to the PYTH community for supporting us here at the Edge Podcast and Edge Newsletter. Say hello to Puffer Unify. Puffer Finance is expanding beyond native liquid restaking with new products such as Unify-based rollup and Unify pre-confirmations AVS. Unify is not just another L2. Unify is a based rollup, one that will solve L2 issues, such as slow withdrawals versus instant withdrawals with Puffer Unify. Puffer Unify is fast, capable of sub-second transactions. Unify also has boosted Puffer points, which means if you bridge assets, you earn boosted Puffer points and rewards from dApps on Unify. Puffer's core products mean a bright future for Ethereum. Learn more at puffer.fi. All right, let's introduce Jay, the co-founder of Definitive. Jay, welcome to the Edge Podcast. How are you doing?
Doing great. Hyped to be here.
I want to say when I first learned about Definitive, it's funny because I was learning more about you guys bridging CBBTC, but like your trading product that is, really for anyone that is advanced as like a hedge fund or a whale to, the brand new user to the space who just needs to do a simple trade. You guys sort of cater to everyone. And so it is really one of the most powerful all-in-one trading platforms available. It is my default day-to-day platform for trading on-chain. What's even more wild is that it's a platform that feels like you're on something like a Coinbase, but again, you're trading on-chain and, it's all self-custody, so you're totally in control of your funds. And so tell us about the journey of like building for customers at Coinbase. Like I'm fascinated, just to call out whatever you can as long as it's not confidential, but like, who were you building for when you worked at Coinbase?
Yeah, and actually, maybe we'll start one level before Coinbase. So I think one thing actually unique about our team is we've been building in this space since the 2017-18 cycle. So I personally built, I was the founder of one of the first on-chain data companies in 2018. It was called Token Analyst. And we were, think of, Dune and Nansen, we were before them. We're doing the on-chain stuff. Probably a little too early for that idea, but I ended up selling the company to Coinbase. So that's kind of how I joined Coinbase. And my co-founders, they were at this company called Tagomi, which was one of the first crypto prime brokers ever built. And Tagomi also got acquired Coinbase. So, our crypto journey starts prior to Coinbase, prior to even DeFi. So I guess kind of segueing over to Coinbase and what we were doing and what led us to building Definitive, right? So I was leading the team that was launching new blockchains across Coinbase. So anytime you saw, I led the team that launched Solana, Polkadot, Near, Celo, Definity, Filecoin, you name it. Any new chain that was launched on Coinbase's staking, custody, trading was the team I led. This, started as a really small 10, 15 person team, grew to over 100 people. And we were responsible for, custodying over $100 billion of assets. So kind of first point is we really know how to build secure products at scale because, Coinbase is probably the most secure place in this industry to store your crypto. So at Coinbase, I was focused on kind of the crypto side, and I met my co-founders, Dennis and Blake, who had come from Tagomi, and they were focused on building our trade execution. They were working on a product called Coinbase Prime, and Coinbase Prime connects to all the different CeFi venues, so Kraken, Binance, Gemini, etc. And someone like a big fund comes in and says, I want to buy $20, $30 million of Bitcoin. That product routes it to all these different venues. And so the people who use this product, include BlackRock, Michael Saylor, Elon Musk, every single major institution who's bought Bitcoin through Coinbase does not use the same retail app you and I use. They use Coinbase Prime. So basically when in 2021 or 2022, we were all really excited about DeFi, and we had this kind of great mix of skill sets where my co-founders had built the trade execution side in CeFi, and I had built all the DeFi on-chain side. So we were like, wow, we really know how to build trading execution at scale, and we also really know how to build these multi-chain applications that are super secure and that touch DeFi. And because we were so early, we were also really early to DeFi. I was farming Uniswap in 2019. I was early in Yam and Compound, DeFi Dad. I used to see all your posts back then. And my co-founder, Dennis, was managing something like 20, 30 million on chain for a fund. So what we realized was that all the stuff that we'd built at Coinbase or CeFi was completely lacking in DeFi. And to bring in the next wave of capital on chain, that same infrastructure was needed. So that was kind of the genesis of our stories and how that led us to, building Definitive and getting the initial idea for it.
It's such a cool story. We hear a lot of these founder stories, and not all of them kind of connect the dots to where they're building now. But I think just listening to your story and your team, your other co-founder story, it's there's a clear path on why you ended up here building Definitive. I want to call out too, just how much this is where the puck is going. If you kind of monitor the DEX, the DEX volume, how much it's eating into centralized exchange volume, it's just that chart is just starting to go up and to the right. So this idea to move on chain and just go all in on chain, I think makes a ton of sense. I do want to ask you though, okay, while you guys were at Coinbase, what were you seeing? What problems were you seeing emerge in the on-chain space that made you think okay, you know what? We need to get in there and fix this and build Definitive. What were the problems that you were seeing?
Yeah, great question. So first is just some market trends like you highlighted. At Coinbase, we would monitor DEX volume versus CeFi volume. So DEX spot volume was on the rise. DEX perp volume was on the rise. DEX on-chain lending was on the rise. So, there were strong headwinds on the DeFi side. And our clients who were on Coinbase, they all wanted to, yield their tokens. They wanted to stake their tokens, right? Coinbase, that's why Coinbase launched ETH staking, because users were like, we're not going to hold our ETH on Coinbase if you don't offer us this yield. So a lot of the clients wanted to access DeFi in a safe way, with great UX, with all the same features that they were used to in CeFi, but they wanted to do the same on DeFi. So the alpha was there, and ourselves, we were also, given we were so early in DeFi and farming all the stuff, and our friends were one or two individuals who now had started a fund, and they were only on-chain focused funds. So we saw kind of the early trends and signals that, hey, like all this capital will come on-chain. The infrastructure isn't there yet, and there's that gap, and we know exactly how to kind of fill that gap.
Maybe just like on that note, we should probably just further define what definitive is. So how would you describe it to somebody that's already, familiar with DeFi, has like an understanding of DeFi? I think that's kind of generally our audience. So yeah, how would you high level describe definitive to somebody like that?
Yeah, totally. And I think first, maybe I'll talk about, some of the problems with trading in DeFi. And these also apply to yield farming and stuff, but I'll just focus kind of on trading. And I think the first problem that we see is that liquidity is fragmented across chains, across protocols, across ecosystems, across dexes. If you want to buy an asset, it might be on one dex in Solana, and you have to go and figure out which dex that is and try to find it. To get your funds over there, you have to bridge. Once you bridge, you often don't have gas. So now you have to gas a wallet. So that's kind of one kind of area. Second is actually trading in DeFi is more complex than people think. People are used to going to the Uniswap UI and swapping, but there's stuff like gas, slippage, MEV, that all eat up into your profits. And most people don't know what these things are, or care to know, what MEV is, or what slippage is, or what price impact. It's very technical stuff. There's only like people who build trading systems and nerds like me are interested in this, in the details. Then the kind of the third problem is, if you're swapping maybe over, say, 10 or 20,000 bucks, the only option is you do a single swap, one point in time. All those orders that you have in CeFi, like the most basic is a DCA, but advanced ones are called TWAP, or time weighted average price order, VWAPs, limits, stop limits. They're all missing, so can't actually manage risk. So I think DeFi was a great protocol level innovation, but the UX and the advanced execution part was completely missing that we had seen and was available in in CeFi. So if you think about Coinbase, started with a simple app to buy Bitcoin, very simple, very basic, but now it has this full prime a product. And the reason why is because the customer needs changed. They wanted more. They wanted better pricing, more liquidity, good reporting, P&L. So there are all these gaps in DeFi. And if you've used DeFi, you know this. So that's kind of where I guess Definitive comes in, and we're trying to fill these gaps. So first and foremost, we enable our users to trade any asset, on any chain that we support. We support 7 chains, EVM chains, and Solana. So any asset on those chains, the minute or the second they go live, is available on Definitive. So you don't have to wait for a listing or anything. You can just trade it, paste in the ticker or the contract address. Second is we abstract chains. So it doesn't matter if you're trading on Solana or Base or Ethereum or whatever. We support it. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to think that gas is $10 on Ethereum but 10 cents on Base. We just handle that and kind of segue that into gas. We're fully gas abstracted. So to the earlier point I mentioned, I'll tell you that, hey, there's this hot coin on Solana. You're like, oh my God, I need to go buy it right now. You'll have to go and bridge over, and then you'll realize you don't have gas. So we abstract that part away. So I guess maybe to summarize Definitive, right, we're account abstracted, chain abstracted, and gas abstracted. It's kind of the more technical terms. But TLDR is of all of this is what this means is we deliver a CeFi experience on DeFi. We wanted to feel like a Coinbase Pro. We wanted to feel like Binance, but it's actually fully on-chain and runs through smart contracts. So that's kind of the real value prop of Definitive.
Jay, I'm wondering what some of the feedback you're getting from users, because it does seem like the product has gone from being less known to being like virally known among like, power users, traders that are on chain. I know, for example, when I first looked at Definitive, I'm like, all right, yeah, like this looks a lot like a Coinbase Pro or Binance. So like already like sounds fantastic, but like I can't say that is like super compelling or sexy to anyone to like want to get in there, like, like the way yield gets you on board. So you're looking at that, but then once you start to play around with the platform and you realize like, hey, this thing looks like it'll allow me to basically trade anything. To your point, like I can paste in any ticker. I don't have to play the game of like going to CoinGecko and looking for like, where are the markets for these like new tokens? Do I have the right token? Because there's also helpful tools in there like showing which tokens are trending. I'd love for us to talk a little bit more about the TWAP versus limit order here. But on the limit order side, I mean, my sense has been that for years, market orders have dominated among users. Now, I don't know if that's true. If you look at volume, like I'm guessing more sophisticated actors have figured out trading with limit orders on chain before Definitive existed. But for the longest time, it just seems like everyone's doing market orders. I can say as much as I thought, that I wouldn't succumb to that. Like I would never trade with market orders on a centralized exchange. But here on chain, I'm just like, I'm just going to do this because I have zero trust that anyone can get my limit order through without like blowing through gas or anyways. I guess like what's the general feedback you're getting? And then also love to get your thoughts on like limit orders and like, are you getting more folks on board? Like, can you see what number of, or what's the percentage of volume that is being done via market orders versus something like a limit or TWAP?
Yeah, great question. So maybe we'll start on the feedback side. I think, you hit the nail on the head in that when you come to the platform and it's like, okay, this is another kind of trading terminal, trading interface. What's so special about it? And only once you use it, you kind of start realizing, all the features. And I think what we realized is our product is basically a culmination of a lot of small little improvements, from orders to onboarding to security to get gas abstraction to chain abstraction. It's a lot of small things that together provide a great end-to-end user experience, but on their own is not the hot narrative on crypto Twitter, and I think that's okay. We're fine with it. So the challenge for us is how do we convey the value to people who've never used it, and then onboarding and improving that experience and giving that user the delight of that first trade without signing their MetaMask is what we're really aspiring to do. So that's one area that we're focused on. The second area of feedback where what we usually receive is everyone wants more chain integrations. So, as you know, Hyperliquid is really hot right now. So that's probably the most requested. And we can talk about that now or later. The next thing that people want is a native cross-chain swap. You have an asset on Base. You hear about an asset on Solana, and you want to swap that instantly. We offer a bridge and swap right now, but we are working on some exciting stuff to make this faster, better, and enable you to swap instantly at massive size, or even TWAP from one chain to another, stuff that's never existed before. And more on that in Q1. So I guess summarizes, there's a lot of kind of small onboarding UX feedback that people give, and we love feedback. We're always trying to improve every day. Every day is day zero. More chains is second, and basically making it easier and faster to move between the chains. is the third area that, we get a lot of feedback on. And this is from, we have different kinds of customers. So this is from kind of individual traders. We also service a lot of liquid crypto funds and OTC desks. Actually, I was telling Nomatic earlier, the last 6 months, all these crypto funds who ghosted us have now all come back and they're all trying to onboard. They can't get on fast enough. So they have some different requirements and different features. Can kind of dive into that now or later if you want. So, different requirements based on the user type. And then your second question we like to categorize it as simple orders and advanced orders. Simple order is market. Advanced orders are TWAPs, limits. We're also launching stop orders. So those are take profit and stop loss orders, which again, very common in CeFi, not available in DeFi. So actually, I would say from us, our standpoint, probably 75 to 80% are advanced orders. And I think one reason for that is that one is we've made it pretty easy to use these advanced orders, and we've kind of proven that there's trust. If you do execute an advanced order through us, it actually executes on chain. You get the funds, and transparency is really big for us. So we have a very detailed reporting feature. So say you put in a TWAP over 1 week, and it has 10,000 smaller orders as part of it. Through Definitive, you get a report that shows you every single one of those orders, how much you paid in gas, how much was filled, what was a notional amount, etc. for every single one of those fills with a transaction hash. So I think it's a trust thing, and once people start trusting the advanced orders, they never go back to the simple orders, because if you do a market order, you basically lose money to the price impact or slippage. You're probably always better off, if you're trading over a certain size, to always do a limit or a TWAP.
I've been using this, I think probably for about, I don't know if it's been like 2 to 3 months. But I kind of got on this when the virtuals kind of like base ecosystem started popping off with AI agents. I found that like it was sort of cumbersome to buy stuff. Like there was a lot of low liquidity AI agent tokens. They had to be paired with virtuals. And I came to Definitive to kind of get around that. And at full disclosure, I do have a small investment in Definitive. Like I feel like that can sometimes discredit what I'm about to say, but I use this every day because it's literally made my life easier. But there was like a lot of issues getting in and out of these like low liquidity AI agent tokens. And you mentioned the TWAP feature, the TWAP feature. The fact that you could do that was like pretty helpful just for like reducing your slippage on some of these low liquidity tokens. So say you wanted to like jump from one AI agent token to another, and if you looked at the market price at that time, there might be like significant price impact, but you're like, okay, well, I want to get a position in this other one. So you know what? I'm going to TWAP it over a period of like, you can go as low as like 10 minutes. I think you can go up to like 12 hours. I think you can do like days. Yeah, exactly. So I think that was like just like a huge upgrade. I kind of think of this a little bit like I loved using Matcha. I still use Matcha from time to time, but if you took Matcha and kind of like put a bunch of amazing trading features on top of it, that's kind of how I've been like thinking about Definitive. So yeah, I mean, it was super helpful in that this current meta that we're in. And like I said, I don't know what I'd be doing without this right now, trying to like degen into some of these tokens. So
I'll just quickly add that trading on chain, it's always been like a jungle, and like there's been a benefit to being like bold enough to go into that jungle. But then like when you go to Coinbase, it's a zoo. It's very like curated. It's very safe. And what's interesting is, I mean, I feel like Definitive like basically like goes into the jungle and is like, you can have access to absolutely everything. We're just willing to cater to those needs, in an almost instantaneous way. So, something new arises in the jungle of meme coins. And again, all you have to do is know something like the ticker or maybe the contract address, and you get the same experience as though you're trading on Coinbase. You don't, to your point, Nomatic, to trade virtuals was not easy. Like that was a really difficult thing to buy something like Lunar AIXBT, like the big AI agents that were once upon a time much smaller, but you could go in with USDC. This is the wild thing. That was actually the light bulb moment for me. I bought one of the agent tokens and I was like, whoa, like I would have had to have really known what I was doing, know which platforms to go to, where to source that liquidity, what token that I needed, which chain to be on. And instead, I'm looking at a platform that has abstracted away the need for gas, abstracted away the need to know like what pairs to trade. I mean, it's really profound. Like it is a product that we highly recommend because again, we use it every day. So sorry, Jay, what were you saying?
I think part of it is the founding team DNA. While we did work at Coinbase, we're all Degens at heart. I'm in basically almost every virtualist play and every AI play that's coming out. And part of it is like these are problems that we face every day and we wanted to solve. And we are also users, of our platform. So kind of adds up. And I think Nomatic, to one point that you were making, actually one big differentiator is you can TWAP from any asset to any asset. So a lot of platforms that maybe offer you a DCA feature, it's only like SOL to an asset or ETH to an asset. You can literally go virtual agent to virtual agent, which is pretty cool. You don't have to do an intermediary, trade.
Jay, for someone who's never used a TWAP order, when would you recommend considering using that?
Great question. I think it depends on the asset. So say that you are buying an asset like Bitcoin or ETH, maybe don't need to use a TWAP. But if you're buying a long tail asset like a virtual coin, I highly recommend using a TWAP, even at something like a $10,000 or $5,000 trade. Definitive actually offers a 10-minute TWAP. And what that'll do is break up that order into 10 or 15 parts of, $400 or $500 each. And the main benefit is you will get more of the asset using the TWAP than you will in market order. So honestly, I recommend most people to always use a TWAP when trading altcoin.
This episode is brought to you by Mantle, the ultimate Ethereum L2 for builders. With over $2.16 billion in TVL, Mantle powers multi-billion-dollar yield-bearing assets like CMETH and FBTC, driving sustainable growth and capital efficiency. Plus, Mantle offers a unique reward station for airdropping different tokens to MNT holders, including one ongoing campaign for 4 million Athena tokens and another for 570,000 Eigen. To learn more, go to mantle.xyz, and thanks to Mantle for supporting us at the Edge Podcast and Edge newsletter.
Yeah, one other thing you were mentioning earlier, Jay, that I want to come back to is Hyperliquid. I'm imagining you're just getting a lot of people asking about this. So curious kind of like what you're thinking of for this, roadmap for rolling out access to that ecosystem, maybe how you're going to do it. I know myself, and I've actually mentioned this to you guys, I think Hyperliquid's going to have major airdrop potential. So can you guys do this in a way where we can interact with Hyperliquid on Definitive and not miss out on some of those airdrops?
Yeah, I'll show you I'm a big Hyperliquid maxi, so this is my plushie. I went to their event in Singapore and I've been an early user. So I think first I'll kind of tell you where I see Definitive fit in, right? I think, like I said, our vision is to make access to provide institutional grade access to DeFi, not just to institutions, but to anyone with a wallet, right? Anyone, anywhere in the world should be able to access the same infrastructure as like a Michael Saylor does. Now, once we access it, we want these users to be able to trade anywhere, trade any asset. So we're not an exchange. We're not a DEX, right? We are purely finding the best sources of liquidity and providing our users with ability to trade anything they want. So I think Hyperliquid is an amazing opportunity because we're one is personally users of their product, and two is we want to integrate into them ASAP. And, that's actually on the Q1 roadmap, and we want to launch Hyperliquid integration. So we've already started kind of researching it. We're talking, we're in some Telegram channels with the team, etc. So early days, but we're really pumped. And yes, I think how our infrastructure under the hood works is every user, Definitive is fully non-custodial. So every user on Definitive actually has their own wallet on it, every chain you're on. So right now you have a specific account on Base, one on Solana, or any chain you trade on. Similarly, you would have one on Hyperliquid. That's yours. You custody the assets there. So if there is an airdrop, that wallet would be able to claim it.
Jay, you've kind of alluded to this earlier, but maybe you can just share the different user archetypes that you're seeing on the platform. Like, I don't know if you have different buckets of users, but yeah, what can you share on that front?
Yeah, great question. As I kind of mentioned earlier, we're building an institutional grade on-chain trading platform. That being said, this platform's for everyone. In TradFi, you need millions of dollars of AUM to access something like what we built. But we wanted to democratize access to this to everyone. So all you need to use Definitive, is a wallet. You need to connect your wallet, or you even just need an email. Connect your wallet or sign up with email, deposit some funds, and start trading. It's that easy. So that brings us to kind of the different customers segments we see. So I would say that we surface, new retail traders. So there are people who come in and put in, say, a few $100s and buy a meme coin. So we have a few of those users, but our platform is probably not optimized for those users. Our platform is mostly optimized for people who are DeFi familiar, all the way up to, pro traders who trade every day to institutional trading funds. So we have a lot of DeFi familiar users. So I would describe these folks as, they have maybe $50,000 to $100,000 on chain. They want to buy the new hot meme coin. We have some, pro DeFi traders. So these are folks with, say, high six figures on chain. They're maybe putting in 10, 20 trades a week of various sizes. They're basically always online on chain. And they're kind of trading from hot narrative to hot narrative. And then finally, one thing that's super unique about us versus anyone else in the market is we service institutional users. So we have liquid crypto funds with 30 million plus on our platform. We have OTC desks, tier 1 OTC desks who are using us for on-chain. So these OTC desks don't actually have connectivity to all these venues that we have connectivity to. So they actually use us, and so we partnered with these OTC desks. So we have these funds who, are putting, and this is public information. We had a fund who is doing a, $1.5 million AIRDROP trade on Base, all through Definitive. We have funds who are, buying Fartcoin, which is hot these days, millions of dollars of it, through Definitive. So the institutions really like Definitive because of our execution, our reporting, and our compliance. So on the execution front, I think we can chat about that later, but we do offer best execution on chain, and I'll go into the technicalities later. The second area they really like is our reporting feature. So every trade that goes on, is it a TWAP, is it a limit or a market, we offer a post-trade report that kind of lays out exactly what happened, how much was spent on gas, what was the dollar value of these trades, etc. This makes so funds have needs where they have to report every week or every quarter, and so we provide simple reports that they can download and then use for end of year, end of quarter reporting. So this is a huge value add we provide. And finally, this is kind of a special feature we have is we have a compliance feature. So this is some nuance where if you're a RIA, I think a registered investment advisor in the United States, you need to know that the Uniswap pool or the SushiSwap pool that you're trading on does not have funds from a OFAC sanctioned party. So you can't trade with North Korea. That gets you in trouble. So we've partnered with this company called Redefine, and what we do something called pre-trade simulation. So before a trade goes in, we analyze the pool and we provide a risk score that says, hey, there's North Korean funds in this pool. We won't trade here. So this is something that these funds really like. And kind of finally, I didn't talk about this earlier, the last feature they also like is we have a lot of bespoke account management setups. So what I mean by that is you can have many portfolios, i.e. sub-accounts. You can have many different roles. So these funds have admins who are allowed to deposit and withdraw money, and they have traders who can go and just trade. So we have all this bespoke role management for these funds. So I just kind of to tie it all together, Definitive is, I think, for everyone who for anyone who has a wallet, all the way to a fund with 9-figure plus in AUM. We service all of these people in different ways. And, it's been really exciting to kind of grow this market and get feedback from these different user segments.
Egg, a quite astonishing commodity, the cause of your desire. Egg, which fills the inner void. Egg.
Eggs are pretty epic, but you know what's more epic? Paying for them with crypto. Borrow, earn, and now pay with Moonwell.
Bitcoin Layer 2s are everywhere, but GOAT Network is different. We're the first to use decentralized sequencers, letting both Bitcoin and Dogecoin secure our network while earning native yield. No nonsense, just your assets working smarter. Our early supporters got it, with over 8 million committed in December alone and already earning returns. Next up, mainnet launch in Q1 of 2025. GOAT Network, where Bitcoin scaling meets real yield. Visit goat.network, get involved, and start earning sustainable yield.
Jay, something you mentioned about getting the best execution of your trades, like how do I know as a trader that I'm getting that? What happens within the Definitive platform that allows me to get that?
Yeah, great question. So what Definitive does is we integrate the global source of liquidity for an asset. What that means is we integrate 100 plus dexes across all these different chains. We integrate dex aggregators. So we actually integrate with 0x, with Matcha, with Jupiter. We then also integrate directly with market makers. So we are getting flow from the Wintermutes of the world. So we basically see the full global source of liquidity for a specific asset through dexes, through aggregators, and through market makers. So when you put in a trade and you want to buy, let's just say you want to buy Aave Onchain, we have a back-end kind of high-frequency trading engine that scans all these different sources in real time and figures out how to break up your trade to get you the best execution. So if you want to buy, 100 Aave, it'll figure out that 40 Aave you'll get the best price for 40 on a DEX, 40 on some aggregator, and 20 through, a market maker. So we have these algorithms that we built. We built this prior. Coinbase kind of ported them over to DeFi. And so you can check it out in the post-trade report if you trade on Definitive. You'll find that trades are, we share the venue where a trade was filled. And so we try to guarantee, best execution on chain.
Jay, are you allowed to share how much volume has been traded on Definitive so far? Is that like a number you have kind of like relevant in your head?
It's a little, I guess, we don't want to publicize that number just yet, but to, give you some context on it, I think Definitive has been live for around 6-7 months. The first 4 months was just onboarding people, getting them familiar with the platform. I think November, was our first month of 9-figure volume. And then December, in probably 10 days or so, we surpassed November. So things have been kind of trending, upwards in the right direction. And it's a mix of people are hearing about us, the bull market, and institutions are coming back to the platform.
Jay, we were talking offline a bit about some AI integrations that you're planning on implementing on Definitive. I don't know if that was alpha or if you can share some of that, but I'll just throw that one over to you. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, totally. When I say Definitive is for everyone, I don't just mean humans, I also mean agents. And, given that we offer, on-chain trade execution, trading any asset on any chain, this is kind of critical infrastructure that an agent needs to interact and transact on chain. So what's been exciting is that this is still in stealth, but we are working with a few high-profile agent teams who are launching agents, and they're looking to integrate our API. So, you'll probably hear more about this in Q1, but just a little note here, there's two kinds of agents. So one is you kind of have this like sentient agent where this agent manages money for a DAO or invests in other agents. Then what's coming up, what's new and exciting is that some products are building a way for each person to have their own agent or a fleet of agents. So say that you might have 5 agents and I might have 20, but each of these agents might want to interact on chain. How are they going to do that at speed without worrying about, gas, getting best execution, etc.? That's kind of where, I think there's a huge opportunity for us to partner with these agent teams and, basically offer the on-chain trading infrastructure for our agents. So that's coming up. Pretty exciting stuff that we're pumped about and for the new year.
Jay, who do you see as your competitors?
Yeah, great question. So there are a few different buckets of competitors. For the kind of like the retail trader audience, there's a few other terminals. One's called Photon, the other one's called Azura. I think they're pretty great products. They're really focused on aping into like a new pump.fun coin the minute or the second it goes live. So it's like very hyper focused on that use case. So for example, if you use Photon, the average, the default slippage setting is 20%, and they charge like 1% in fees. So if you're, aping into a new pump.fun coin, you don't care. You just want to get in as fast as you can. So I think they're really actually great product, really focused on that one use case. We're a little different, but they've also created a similar kind of terminal-like experience where you don't have to think about gas, etc. I think next is, there are the kind of DeFi 1.0 projects like your Matcha, Kyle Swap, etc. I don't even see if they're direct competitors. We do integrate with a lot of these folks already, but I think what we want is folks to stop kind of connecting their wallet, approving tokens, signing, and then using Definitive. I think Definitive is the new wave of DeFi. It's how it should run. It's kind of faster. The UX is better. You don't have to worry about gas, etc. So one of our goals is how do we, convince these OG DeFi folks to move from these UIs that they're, used to using something kind of like us. And then again, because we also, service the larger liquid funds, there are some players like Talos or FalconX. They're mostly CeFi focused, but they're probably looking into DeFi as well. So oftentimes when we talk about Definitive to these funds, they say, oh, is this like on-chain Talos? So I think they are a competitor, but they don't really have the DeFi offering that we have and that we built out for the last couple of years. But, definitely think they could launch or they could expand their DeFi. Hopefully they partner with us and use our infrastructure to do it, but we'll see.
Jay, what can you share with Edge Points? These are currently live right now, and assuming, quite obviously, this is leading to a token. So also would be curious just about anything you can share with the utility that a token for Definitive might have.
Yeah, good question. And I definitely have to be kind of careful in how I answer this. But yes, I think we launched the Edge Points program a couple of months back. It's been a huge success, and 50% of the points have now been claimed. So definitely, you use the platform, get in. There's just more users onboarding every day. So if you were early, it's good for you. And the goal of the points program was like not to make it gimmicky and actually reward real behavior on our platform. So you will find that, you get points for actually trading on different chains, trying out different order types, etc. It's not like go to Discord and say GM 20 times. Like it's very much tied to using the product. And we actually took inspiration from Hyperliquid, who had a great points program. It rewarded their users who are traders, not people who are farming. So yes, I mean, we are looking to launch a token. Tentative timeline is Q1. Not sure of the exact date. Again, on utility, I don't want to talk too much about it right now. We're still in discussions with our legal team, etc. But you can kind of imagine it some closer to like a BNB, where we, like I said, we want to be like on-chain Coinbase, on-chain Binance, right? So we reward users for using the platform. We give them lower fees. They stake the token. You get access to even more advanced features that give you an edge. So yeah, more on that coming in Q1, but that's all I'll say.
Jay, thanks so much for coming on. I think this is probably a good place for us to wrap up. So I want to remind listeners that they should first learn more about Definitive by going to DEFINITIVE.fi, follow DEFINITIVE.fi on X or Twitter, follow Jay's personal handle, which is J_Prasad17. We'll put that all into the show notes so you can easily find and reference that. And then Jay, just again, thank you for building such an amazing product, because again, like I feel like it's really evolved like my ability to trade on chain. What else is next in the roadmap that we can look forward to? And yeah, any other call to action before we let you go?
Yeah, great question. So a lot is coming on the roadmap. Our vision with Definitive is to not only build a trading terminal, but to build the access point to DeFi. This includes perps, includes lending, includes yield. We actually started doing yield first, but kind of pivoted into the trading side due to user demand. So, lot on the feature side. I think I alluded to this earlier. More chains. Next is more order types. So we want it to be completely seamless, going from one chain to another at size. And then finally, real UX is a huge focus for us. So I think starting with the PWA experience and then mobile, so you can have the power of Definitive in your hands. I think mobile has been something people really want. So yeah, really excited, for the year ahead.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. If you're a talented founder or developer, please consider reaching out to our team at fourthrevolution.capital. And to stay up to date with future episodes, plus get expert tips, strategies, and exclusive content, subscribe to our free newsletter at the-edge.xyz.